So, thinks John Mickley, it's time for facts and an end to rumors. Expansion of existing roads or the decision to build an entirely new one are frequently the subject of much discussion in the regions involved. This is entirely natural, since many of the people will be affected. But not until the public hearing will definite statements be revealed. And Mickley knows, like most of us, that those who try to profit from rumors are frequently disappointed. Any car or truck driver knows today that roads are hard-pressed to keep up with the increasing traffic demands made upon them. Even more aware is the Highway Department. More than 32,000 miles of roads are their responsibility, and long-range studies and planning are continuous. Which way should a new highway go? One very important factor is the cost of acquiring the right-of-way. Making use of older highways is always considered, but it might cost more money to acquire the property already developed there. Or should the road strike out through untouched country, where property values at the time are less? Quite often, it is better to start afresh. In earlier years, road builders usually followed the lines of least resistance, the curves and contours of even earlier trails and paths. But road construction equipment and methods are a far cry from those of years ago. Hills, valleys, and rivers are conquered more easily. Slopes, grades, and curves are modified. In fact, no new major roads require the yellow line no passing zones. Much wider stretches of land are required for these new roads. Sometimes it's wondered, why so much? Well, there's more than just 4 lanes and a median. Note the very wide shoulders and gentle slopes. There's room for future expansion, room for access and exit, larger and more visible signs, more room for maintenance equipment to maneuver in. More visibility means safer driving, and those wide shoulders permit landscaping and a more attractive thoroughfare. To be as fair and just as possible, when a new road is in the planning stage, widely advertised public hearings are held by the Missouri Highway Department. They are open to all interested parties. Usually called and conducted by the district engineer, he explains the urgent need for the new road and explores and explains the various suggested routes. The department knows that a relocation of a road will affect many people in many ways. One man may have a pasture cut off from the rest of the farm or lose a landmark of sentimental value to him. A business aimed at traffic along an old road will have fewer customers. At the same time, however, property values will increase along the new road, and ultimately, the entire area will benefit. John Mickley, for example, felt he was risking his life every time he had to travel on the old road, and indeed, he was a traffic hazard to others and to himself. Results of the public hearing are reviewed at the administrative level. They are guided by fairness and justice, treating everyone alike, the most value for the least amount of money, the effects on the people and regions where the road will go. The decision is made. Here will be the new highway, a project which now calls for a small but highly specialized division of the Highway Department, those who must acquire the necessary land. The area maps and blueprints are run off, and preliminary estimates are discussed. Now there will be months and months of determining the exact amounts of land, who are the owners, and the correctness of abstracts, deeds, and legal titles. What's a fair offer for the land? Fair to the owner and to the public paying the price. Department appraisers and outside appraisers, local experts on real estate in the area, establish the values, usually based on a consideration of comparable sales adjusted to the current taking. One man cannot arbitrarily set the value. Independent appraisals are made by one or more appraisers, and two, at a minimum, agree on it. Their recommended figures are subject to review at the state level and at the national level when federal funds are involved in acquisition and construction. The next step is going directly to the individual landowner. He is shown the route which the new highway will take and the tract or tracts of land to be acquired from him. He may walk along the actual right-of-way, try to visualize the future highway. Old landmarks will probably be changed or even disappear. But in return, there will be an increase in value of the remaining land and new conveniences to the dwellers. Almost 7,000 tracts of land were negotiated for in a recent year. More than 90% are usually acquired by friendly agreement with the owners. The right of condemnation had to be exercised in the others, with only a very few of those resulting in legal hearings. The improvement and widening of supplementary roads under state jurisdiction take the same first steps followed for major highways. Surveys and estimates are made. And public hearings are also held for those who are interested or affected. Since these supplementary type roads are primarily for local traffic, right-of-way is furnished by local authorities. But since construction and future maintenance costs will be borne by the State Highway Department, landowners usually are agreeable to donating the necessary land. The amount of land needed is small, and the pathway of the road is more flexible. A farm pond can be spared. There's room on the other side. Trees put in as seedlings by a man's father, or a prized ornamental entrance, the cherished symbol of earlier generations. All of these can be and are considered in the planning of a new road. For, to repeat, the State Highway Department is always guided by the principles of being fair and just to all of the people of the state. The vast new network of highways and interchanges within our major cities make a fantastic, almost futuristic pattern from the air. Smooth, safe travel on an urban freeway. But it used to look like this. Now, these urban projects have a strong double effect. They are needed to channel in-city and through traffic quickly and safely. But they can also restore depressed areas to be an economic asset to the community. The properties in urban sections are naturally higher priced than anywhere else, but it costs much less to acquire deteriorated property, and its removal gives the city a facelifting job at the same time. The techniques of appraising and negotiating are the same as elsewhere. Independent experts familiar with the values are brought in. Federal monies and money from the cities themselves help to acquire these properties. For a city, the highway has become a part of urban redevelopment to halt the creeping blight which has affected so many of them. Planning and construction engineers cooperate with local authorities to spare and preserve historical landmarks. Some become more impressive than ever in their new surroundings. The progress represented by highway construction and expansion inevitably must result in the relocation of some people, their businesses, or cause a change in a once familiar pattern of life. Some of the changes forced upon them were undoubtedly sad ones at the time. But progress it is, for the greater good of more people. Adjacent property becomes a center of multiple services. Your Missouri Highway Department conducts detailed economic surveys, both before and after, in areas where new interchanges and freeways develop, and where cities and towns are bypassed. Every report so far indicates that in the regions involved, improvements, both expected and unexpected, have occurred. John Mickley, Missouri landowner, is also a taxpayer and car driver. He wants good roads now. He needs and deserves even better roads in the future to share with his fellow citizens. What he is driving on, he has helped to purchase. These highways are partly his. He should know that these long stretches of valuable property were acquired at fair prices to benefit all of Missouri's highway travelers.